Well, I thought we did a lot of good things during the course of that scrim or their exhibition game. Certainly, we have an opportunity to learn and to grow. I thought there were some. When we started the game really strong defensively. I thought we finished the game really well defensively. The middle 2 quarters, we didn't do a good job at all defensively. So we have to go back and figure out what that looked like. And what I've said is when we get into game action and we're in the Coliseum or we're on the road and we're wearing uniforms, there are times we're going to revert back to doing things the way that we've done them, whether that was here at West Virginia or someplace else. And we saw that in some of the action. And so now we can look at that and then we can make those adjustments. But I thought our kids played hard. Thought they did a lot of good things. Thought we created turnovers. I thought we played with good energy on the defensive end to create turnovers. I thought we got to the offensive glass quite a bit. So there are some really good things that we can take from this and learn, and we've got to continue improving. So I thought our young ladies did a good job of understanding and trying to make adjustments. We just don't know what this is all supposed to look like, and we haven't practiced it enough to have enough experience, even though we know what we are supposed to do, to be able to do it naturally yet. And that will come.
Starting lineup and some other combinations, were those things you want to work on specifically, or is it just a matter of getting players minutes?
Well, I think it was a little bit of both. I think there were times, certainly in the first quarter into the second quarter, I think in the third quarter, really trying to look at some different matchups, playing JJ and Maddie, 2 smaller guards together, and what does that look like for us? And then, obviously, we want to have one of them. They're both really good guards, so then getting one of them out and having an opportunity to sub and give each other some rest is really important. We put Jayla back in the second quarter, which would never really do that in a game scenario, but we wanted to get a stop. She was in foul trouble. One of our coaches, Jason, says she has 2 fouls. I go, I know, she's being tested right now, and she knows that. So those were some of the things that we were trying to do situationally. At the same time, really see when we get out there how different players really respond and how they get after it. And I thought they did a really good job of playing with effort and energy, and we made some mistakes. We gave up some really easy things at times, and Fairmont made us pay for that, and that was a really good look for us, because we can say that teams are going to make us pay, but when they do actually make you pay, now you can go back, and I think it certainly validates that. So good learning opportunities from us.
Are we going to see a little more full court pressure as we go along? I mean, I know it's a script, it's an exhibition, right, but you didn't do a whole lot of full court.
We didn't do a whole lot of full court. It's something, I certainly believe this, we've got to have a great half-court base. Games are won and lost in a half court. Now, we can also create some havoc and do some really good things in a full court, but that hasn't been our point of emphasis at this point in time yet. It's something that we have some players who can do it. We have some speed. We can add that to us, but we're really focusing on what it looks like in a half court first and foremost.
You guys had 4 turnovers, I think, in the second half compared to 9 in the
right.
first and second quarter. What do you think the main difference was in that, and how you guys really cut down the turnovers?
Well, I think if we would have actually really spent probably 3-4 days prepping for this, what we were going to see today, we would have been better off even in the first and second quarters against it. We prepped for it really in 2 days because we were focusing on other things that we have to work on and get better. I thought, and again, I think that's a matter of understanding, instead of just saying, hey, we've got to take care of the basketball, what specifically do we have to do? Well, we wanted to get around the rim in the third and fourth quarters. And so how do we do that? And what are we trying to take advantage of? And yes, we want to get to the rim, and whether that's dribble penetration or pass penetration, but they're trying to take charges. So if you get to 2 feet and you make different decisions, and you take your time passing it out of there, then we cut down on some of the turnovers that we had. And I thought, and again, it's the first time that we've seen that, and we didn't prep for it for a long time because we have a lot of things to prep for. We were practicing special situations this morning in our shoot-around. We haven't gotten to a lot of those yet. We've done them a little bit, but we're working on it.
I know the game only ended about 20-25 minutes ago, but what's the biggest thing you learned about your team today?
I think the biggest thing is that they really want to be good, and they want to do things the way we are trying to do things, but it's not natural for them. And so what I thought we did a pretty good job of as we've kind of gotten through we had a scrimmage and an exhibition game, is understanding that when we make a mistake, because we all of a sudden went back to steering it on the wing, and that's not what we do, and they drove by and they got a layup in that situation. And then you talk to those kids, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, I got it. And so they're very willing to be coached and make adjustments, it's just not necessarily natural, and so they will do things kind of what's comfortable for them. So I think the biggest thing I learned is that they want to compete and they want to be really good. We just have a lot of learning to do and a lot of experience that we have to kind of gain on the fly.
Coach, obviously, basketball is basketball, but I showed up here today and there's thousands of people outside, trick or treat.
Right.
And I'm just kind of wondering, do you take anything away from this first game personally? I mean, this is your first time coaching a game in the Coliseum, and or are you just more caught up in the action on the court kind of thing?
Well, first of all, typically my routine was to get to the gym about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes early, right? And then, because we've been there for a while, we've been working on different things, go home, get ready, come back. Well, I came 2 hours before the game today, and I was in a traffic jam. I saw that was great. That was awesome, right? I got a little panicky, but, it was great that we had so many fans here. Second thing is I wish that we could have done some trick-or-treating, so I think that we got to find a way to get some candy. But I also, it was fun for us. One of our coaches at the end said, "How does this work?" And the other coach said, "What are you talking about?" And our players lined up for, to sing with our fans. And then I was told, "Well, the coaches don't have to." And I'm like, "Well, why wouldn't we? This is kind of fun." So for us, we're just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the fastest way from the locker room to the court. What am I allowed to? How am I supposed to go? I've got Willard, who's kind of like my buddy. He hangs out with me. I ditched him at one point in time. I didn't mean to, but I went out to the court early. So there's some just fun things. There's some great people. We had a great pep band and cheer and dance team here. It's been really fun. I think it was a great experience for us. Next time I will know that I have to get here a little bit earlier than that, because that traffic light, it took forever. I don't know. And it was green for a long time, and I still couldn't get through.
Blackston, what does she bring? Obviously, she's 6'2", 6'3",
Right.
and I guess a stretch 5 is kind of what you would classify her. We
Right.
haven't seen a lot of big girls shoot
Right.
like that around here, so I mean.
What was interesting, we kind of got pressured in a full court scenario, and she was typically our post kids at the rim so that we can advance it and attack the rim and hopefully score around the rim. And Kylie, as it got advanced, that kid was kind of doubled, and so Kylie popped out, which is smart. You have to give her an opportunity to pass it somewhere. And she shot a 3, and I looked at the other kids on our bench who were in that position and said, "You should probably stay inside a little bit more." She has a little bit more latitude because that's where she wants to be, really. Right. But for us, establishing ourselves inside, getting the ball in the lane is something we've got to continue to do. I thought Jayla Hemingway did a really, really good job of that today. And making really good decisions. She got to the rim. She took care of the basketball. One of the things, small victories for us, is that we shot the ball pretty well from the free throw line today. We'd like to get there a few more times, but this is the best that we've shot it. We stat it every single day. This is the best that we've shot it, and we did it in game action. So those are some good things for us.
Getting the ball to the rim, obviously you guys were successful with that today. Versus taking threes, do you got to find a happy medium there, in a sense?
Right, we certainly do, and we haven't had as much experience when all of a sudden we're trying to score, and we got great shots in the first half, great open shots from the arc, and our players were aggressive, and we tell them catch to shoot. And so we caught it and we shot it because we were really open, but we didn't make them. We got offensive rebounds a lot of times, but then we wanted to be more efficient. So at halftime we talked about maybe passing some of those up early to attack the rim, to try to get something around the rim, because we felt like we could get that same type of shot later in the shot clock. But we haven't situationally been in that situation enough in practice to see that. So again, those are some of the adjustments that our players are trying to make, but it's not necessarily comfortable. But I thought they did a good job of that. I thought we could get those a little bit later, and I thought we did a good job of getting to the rim in the second half.
Going back to Kylie for a second, you said she likes to be outside.
Yes,
do
a
you
lot.
have to rein her in at all? Say, get on the inside?
Yes.
Or does she have the ability to go out there and do that?
She has the ability to do both, but it's something that when she's on the perimeter, she shoots it well from the arc. She can also drive to the basket. We saw one, she had a charge on it, but she's comfortable putting it on the floor, trying to get it. Our offense is probably the hardest position in our offense to learn is the post position. When should you post up? When should you empty? Should you go set a ball screen? And it's, for us, it's what we told the players before this is we're going to learn some things about who they are in games. For example, Savannah, we might want we had Savannah in a position to go back and protect so we don't give something up in transition. But Savannah's such a good offensive rebounder that we said, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to take advantage of what her strength is. Somebody else has to fill that void. And so some of those things, even with Kylie, are things we have to continue to learn and grow and progress in. We have to understand what they do naturally. Yes, we may want them to do something different than that, but we also have to play to their strengths as much as possible.
Coach, you can kind of look at a big picture kind of scenario. Summertime, new coach comes in, new players are being recruited, that sort of thing. To where you are now, and I'm sure coaches think things could always be better, but I mean, truthfully, things could be worse too. I mean,
Right.
So are you are you kind of happy? I mean, with where things? With where things are in this journey, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that our players have a desire to do really, really well. They do. They care. They want to be really good. It's a matter of being in situations enough times to understand what makes sense when. And when we didn't get what we wanted, whether it was offensively or defensively, why? And how do we adjust it? And so really in the first half when Fairmont State was going on a run, we didn't call a timeout. Okay, in the second and third quarters when they were scoring, because we want our players to learn how to fix some of those things. In women's basketball, being able to save your timeouts, advance the basketball, at the end of the game is important. So there are times that our players are really going to have to fix some things on their own. And right now, they're just starting to learn how to do that. But even in the game, they were communicating about, in the first half, to your point, you got to take care of the basketball. And I actually heard him say it, and I thought, all right, we got some coaches. The best teams I've ever coached, the players coach each other because they know and they can fix a lot of stuff. And so I really am very pleased with their ability to continue to want to be really good and continue to want to learn what it takes, what it's going to look like.
Coach, quick impression of Fairmont State, the team.
Right. I think they're a very, very good team. I think they're very well coached. Their spacing's really good. They have so many kids who can shoot it from the arc. That's good for us because we're going to face teams. We're going to face teams in the Big 12. We're going to face teams in the non-conference that really shoot the ball. And so I thought once we understood how to get to who we wanted to be defensively, we were a lot better. We had some times that we kind of lost. We lost our attention. We lost our focus. There was a baseline out of bounds play that we were going to switch players. After the ball was already handed in, they got a wide open three. There was a possession where, one of their shooters, number 3, and I don't remember her name, but she's a really good shooter. What's her name? The Hall kid. Yep. And so I thought it was good for us. We had a couple, like I said, 2 days to prep and try to work on some personnel. And I think at times we did some good things. At other times, we lost some kids. We lost Hall in transition. And it wasn't like it was after a missed shot. It was after a made shot. So those are things that I think they cause confusion because at times we could have probably played 5 guards to match up better, but we've got to learn to do what we want to do and take advantage of getting the ball inside. And I thought we adjusted and got some of those looks in the second half.
I just wanted to add, what did you think of the video montage before the game?
Oh, that was awesome. Our players are having such a good time with that, with the haunted hoops. That was a lot of fun. This group has a lot of energy, and they've got a lot of juice to them in that regard. And they really care for each other. They've got great chemistry. And so understanding what that's all supposed to look like and how loud our bench needs to be and all those kind of things, it's all a part of what goes into making sure that we have success and we continue building, we continue growing throughout the course of the season.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. That's all we have.